Okay, you're looking at a Muncie 3-speed. This is a short tail. It's for a truck application. Came out of 1964 C10. And my plan was to service it, open it up, take it all apart, clean everything, put new bearings and seals. Now I have the manual for disassembly, and I read it from front to back, and I reviewed all the videos online of this exact unit and or similar ones. And upon trying to disassemble this unit, I come across a problem, and I have an idea what it is, but for any of you that have ever seen this or know what it is, please let me know in the comments section. So, this is your main gear or your input shaft. Your main shaft is in this tail section and all the way up to right there. Now this main shaft to this main gear or input shaft right here, it couples here. So the only thing that holds this input shaft or main gear in place is this retainer ring and this housing, which has been removed. The retainer spring is, or the retainer clip goes, and this cover goes over the shaft. So there's nothing holding this, and I should be able to slide it out, which I did, but then it's binding. Now, I've looked at everything in here, and this is not binding to anything external. Namely, this gear here is not binding to the case, but rather it seems to be binding to the main shaft where it couples. Now inside here you have roller bearings or needle bearings. Now the only thing that I suspect is that there was damage, and I'm going to show you right here. I don't know if you can see it. Let's see if I can zoom in. Oh yeah. You see that? I'm going to point to it. You see that little groove? It's about 5 thousandths maybe. Now, that's likely from a roller bearing or needle bearing from inside where it couples to the main gear or input shaft. Now, let's see here. I'm trying to do this with two hands. So this, it's not binding at all, and it'll go forward and aft, but then it gets stuck right there. Now, when I initially pulled this apart to there, some needle bearings fell out, but that's as far as it would go. Now, my only thought process here is either one, the gear's binding to the casing, or there's a retainer pin or ring, which there isn't, with the exception of this and this casing, and those are both off. So the only other reason that this won't come out, in my opinion, is that there's got to be some damage inside this main gear or input shaft, such that the needle bearings or roller bearings must have damaged it to the point where it is now binding. I mean, it rolls, and before I even disconnected this, I checked all the gears and everything was working fine, but as you can see, it won't come out, and it's not binding anywhere else. So if anybody has any feedback on this, at this point I tried to use wood and some leverage to try to bang it out that way. It's not happening. My only thoughts now is to disconnect or take off this threaded ring, take off this bearing, and then put some type of puller device over this shaft, and then put this ring back over that, and then try to push up against this casing and pull this whole shaft out that way. Outside of that, I am really leery about trying to pound it from inside out, or putting leverage and pushing on this synchro device, because I don't want to damage the synchros in here or damage anything on this coupler, because this is not really replaceable. Anybody's feedback or thoughts would be greatly appreciated, because at this point I don't want to really strong arm this and then damage either this input or main gear shaft or anything else more than it already has been damaged. So that's pretty much it.